Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
And this comes from dailymail.co.uk, and the headline, giant bacteria 5,000 times bigger than normal are discovered in a Caribbean mangrove swamp, and they are even visible to the naked eye.
What? Bacteria you can see with the naked eye. Okay.
5,000 times bigger than normal on the 500th episode. What an episode it's been.
Wow.
Says here, scientists have discovered the world's largest known bacteria reaching up to 1 centimeter. That's 0.4 inches in length. Holy moly. It's almost half an inch.
Half an inch bacteria.
It's a bacteria that's half an inch.
What?
The species called Thiomargarita magnifica. It sounds like a Jimmy Buffett song derivation or something. Thiomargarita magnifica was discovered on sunken leaves in the waters of a mangrove swamp in Guadalupe, Lesser Antilles in the Caribbean. It appears as thin white filaments like vermicelli pasta. I don't know what that is. I am not fancy enough to know what vermicelli pasta is. That
it's like angel hair, only more
nice.
I have no idea what that is, but I know how toilets work.
Oh, you know how toilets work. Fantastic. And contains microscopic sulfur granules that scatter light, giving it a pearly gleam. Ooh, they shine too. The giant organism is thousands of times larger than most bacteria and can therefore be seen by the naked eye. Thiomargarita magnifica challenges the prevailing view of bacterial cell size and the assumption that microbes are only visible under a microscope. And there's like a little video here that shows them. They look like little hairs or something.
Yeah, this is terrifying.
Yeah, scary. Yeah, and they got photos here. Yucky.
So is it Nephilim bacteria? Is that what we're getting?
I think that's what we're getting. 5,000 times bigger than the normal one, invisible to the naked eye. It's 5,000 times bigger than most bacteria, said Jean-Marie Voland, a marine biologist at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, California. Quote, to put it into context, it would be like a human encountering another human as tall as Mount Everest.
What?
Have you ever read the Book of Enoch? You know, there's a part in the Book of Enoch, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It talks about the Nephilim, or like the giants, and I think it says like 300 ells. I can't remember the exact size, but if you did like a 1-to-1 modern day extraction of how big it would be, it's like ridiculously huge.
Yeah,
it would be like a mountain, basically.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And most people say, it must be a mistake. It must be an extra zero in there or something like that. But
it's crazy because bacteria, they are single cell organisms.
Yeah.
So that is a half-inch cell.
It's a half-inch cell, yes.
That changes everything.
Everything.
That is bizarre.
Quote, we know that it's growing and thriving on top of the sediments of mangrove ecosystem in the Caribbean. In terms of metabolism, it does chemosynthesis, which is a process analogous to photosynthesis for plants. The organism was originally discovered in 2009 by Oliver Groves from the University of French Antilles at Pointe-à-Pitre, Guadeloupe. But the find initially did not attract much attention due to its size. Groves at the time thought it was a fungus. It took Gross and other researchers 5 years to find out that the species is actually a bacterium. The find was described in a preprint paper in February and has now finally been published in the journal Science. Quote, when I saw them, I thought, strange, said Gross. In the beginning, I thought it was just something curious, some white filament that needed to be attached to something in the sediment, like a leaf. Scroll. A bunch of pictures of this thing here. Voland took on the challenge to show the organism in 3 dimensions and at relatively high magnification. Using various microscopy techniques such as hard X-ray tomography, he visualized entire filaments up to 9.66 millimeters or 0.38 inch long. By definition, bacteria are microscopic single-celled organisms lacking a distinct nucleus. Bacteria are prokaryotes. Huh. Well, I don't think I've ever tried to pronounce that word out loud, because they do not have a membrane-bound nucleus. And it goes on and on here. I think we get the point. Giant, single-celled, micro...
Nephilim bacteria, baby.
Bacteria. Yeah, for real.
Nobody is safe.
And accompanying this is, this is a big deal, because National Geographic also published on the story, and their headline was "Biggest Bacterium Ever Discovered Shakes Our View of the Single-Celled World." One thing I said last episode, Basil, when we were talking about the multipolar, like the division of the world, the New World Order, and how it's the East and the West is splitting, and it's the opposite of globalization. And I made that analogy about the organism growing, and when they do, they split cells. Right. Do these guys, when they grow, are they splitting? Do they like clone themselves like a Star Trek thing, and like all of a sudden there's another one?
It's been a long time since I was in high school biology class, so I would not be the person to ask. I have no idea. My being able to pronounce prokaryote is
as far
as about the extent that I can recall from high school biology. All right. Well, watch out, folks. The Nephilim bacteria, add them to the list. There is no escape, as in the days of Noah. Yeah, and thanks for listening.
I didn't expect, when we started Nephilim Update, we were doing a lot of like literal keywords Nephilim. This has expanded and become, and not because of us, it's because the stories out there really resonate with our sort of presupposition or our thesis about everything. I never thought we would have Nephilim penguins. I never thought we would have Nephilim bacteria. I mean, this show really does progress our thinking.
Where else do you get things like that, folks? Especially for 500 episodes. Thank you for spending this time with us.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. All this time. So much time with us at this podcast.